Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in again to South Florida Sounday with me, Marion Dozier of tysmedia.net, and as y'all know, CocoWire.net too, the community news website. Today is Easter Sunday. Mm-hmm. God bless us. I hope y'all are going to be enjoying your day today, but we've got a few things to talk about here on Easter Sunday. We had planned that our focus was going to be entirely on the Martin Luther King Coordinating Committee of Palm Beach County and the fact that it's having its next community-focused event on next Saturday, April 27th, the Health, Wellness, and Safety Fair in West Palm Beach. But then loss came. Maude Ford Lee died Sunday last week. And as we've all been hearing, she was the first person of color to sit on the Palm Beach County Board of Commissioners when she was elected in 1990. And she had been married to the founder of the Urban League of Palm Beach County, the late Percy Lee, whom I remember so well. Then on Wednesday last week, we lost another community servant, Inez Mickens, a resident of Riviera Beach, who had been very focused on service to her community. So today we're going to talk about all three if we can, if there's time. But if there's not enough time to talk about Mrs. Mickens, please, ladies and gentlemen, visit CocoWire.net and read about Riviera Beach's plans to name a street after this longtime city resident, which they actually voted on the very day she died. So check out CocoWire.net, CocoWire.net. But now joining us today is Edith Bush, the longtime executive director of the Martin Luther King Coordinating Committee of Palm Beach County. She was also a longtime friend of Maude Ford Lee, and she knew Mrs. Mickens. She'll talk about the Health, Wellness, and Safety Fair, as well as her old friends. And also joining us today is Lia Gaines, who had once been Maude Ford Lee's legislative aide at the Board of County Commissioners. And she also co-founded with Mrs. Lee the nonprofit Business and Economic Development Revitalization Corporation in 1992. And she served with her when Mrs. Lee led the NAACP in West Palm Beach. Ladies, you two busy ladies. Thank y'all so much for joining us on South Florida Sounday today.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you
very much to talk about. But first, let's talk about the Health, Wellness, and Safety Fair on this coming Saturday. Mrs. Bush, I know the event is free and open to the public, and there's going to be all this stuff going on.
Oh, yes.
So give us a sense of these free health screenings. There's going to be a fashion show, a book fair, and the Ineria Hudnell African American History exhibit. So tell us about all of this.
First, I want to say Happy Easter to everybody. I hope you're having a blessed and safe Easter and enjoying your family and friends. And to us, our church-raising family, it is Resurrection Day. Thank God. And I want to thank you, Marion, for always having us on your program.
Mayor Masters program.
Mayor Masters program. All right. Thank you. Thank him, too. Thank him very, very much. We appreciate him so very, very much.
Yes.
We are excited this year to have our Health and Safety Fair, Health, Wellness, and Safety Fair, Saturday, April the 27th, which is next Saturday. And the Martin Luther King Coordinating Committee and the Progressive Northwest Neighborhood Association is sponsoring it under the title that we use every year for our annual events, which is Live the Dream. Allow justice, peace, and love to flow like never-ending rivers. And we're excited that we are going to have free health screenings, blood pressure checks, community service vendors, prizes, food, a fashion show, entertainment, and we are very excited that we're going to have the Ineria Hudnell West Palm Beach African American History exhibit. And we want to thank her son, Earl Hudnell, for allowing us to do this. Mrs. Hudnell documented the African American history in Palm Beach County for more than 30 years, and her historic exhibit has been displayed in schools, churches, museums, and community centers throughout South Florida. Mrs. Herdnell retired from the Palm Beach County School District and was a member of Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. And so we ask you to come. We're going to have storytelling and reading, a bounce house. It is going to be located at the Trinity United Methodist Church, 1401 9th Street in West Palm Beach. Some of the vendors will be the Area Agency on Aging, the Humana Health Organization, the Braille Club, the Inlet Community High School Nursing Unit will be there. Suits for Seniors, the Democratic Women of Palm Beach County, the League of Women Voters. Come to get information on the restoration of felon rights and how to qualify for voting. So voting. We just want you to be there. One Church, One Child will be there, 2211 Palm Beach Coast. And we are also co-sponsored by the Eta Phi Beta sorority, and we are very happy that they are joining us this year. And
you got some authors that are going to be there, right? This is going to be a book fair. Are there going to be some people who actually had written some books there? Or?
Yes. Javon Edmonds, who is in charge of Suits for Seniors.
Javonte Edmonds. Yes, we've had him on the show before.
You've got to come and get his book. It's
the
awesome.
Book for kids.
Yes, the book for
God
kids.
Bless him.
And another young lady, she's going to be one of our storytellers. Jeline, I can't think of the last name, but she's going to be.
And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if y'all heard that male voice, but Thomas Masters just entered the room.
Hello, everybody. I'm just here to help Marion, and I heard that Miss Bush was going to be one of my favorite people of all time.
Yes.
And of course, the little girl there, Lia Gaines, is here, and looking like a little girl, so young. Yeah, she looks very young. She went to Jamaica and found the fountain of youth.
See this gray? It'll be gone in a couple of days.
It's just a little bit. But carry on.
Well, go ahead, Mrs. Bush.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We're very happy to be here with Pastor Masters. He is just supportive of all of our programs.
Always
and we love
has
him.
been.
Yes, and we love
Anything
him.
in the community.
Yes, and we love him so very much, and we thank you too. Well, I call him the Martin Luther King, and then he calls me the Rosa Parks. So, okay,
all right. Okay.
So now, so tell me, there's a whole lot going on with this event. What did y'all want to accomplish? You just want to sort of, give the.
Yeah, we want persons to come and get screenings on things that otherwise they would have to pay for, or go somewhere or wait. But you don't have to. You come here, you'll get an iron and a cholesterol check. You'll see the fashion show and the exhibit. And this young lady, I found her name, Jeline Halara. She has a young person's book, and the title of it is Alphabet, and it is a beautiful book.
God bless her.
And we just want to showcase these. We're showcasing young people. This is the exciting thing. We will have the Biettes there as volunteers from the Eta Phi Beta sorority.
My daughter was in that organization.
Oh, wonderful! And
God
then
bless
there
her.
are a few other organizations that will be sending their children, and also we provide community service points for anyone who needs them in all of our events.
If they attend
If
if they volunteer.
If they volunteer or attend, yes. And so we are just excited. And it's going to be Saturday, April the 27th from 10 to 2.
Okay.
And we look forward to an exciting year this year.
Now, one thing I want to ask before we move on is I noticed that y'all added the word safety to the name of the event. Did I miss it?
No. That's fine. We've invited the members of the police department there, the fire department. We were asking them to come, and then sometimes they are very good in showing children how to be safe, riding a bicycle, or and obeying traffic. laws and everything like that. Yes, the fire department and the police department, they are very supportive of
God bless them. All right, so tell us one more time, like if people need to get more information, how can they get
please
more information?
Please call Cecil Cooper at 561-386-5533 or Geraldine Cyrus at 561-801-2426, because they are in charge of the health and safety fair, and they are doing a marvelous job, and we are just so thankful for those who have committed to support us in this event.
All right, and now let's move on now and talk about somebody else who has been supportive of you over the years, and that's Maude Ford Lee. Right? Yes.
Yes.
So tell me.
Yes. Maude Ford Lee, and I'm going to make this short because I want Lia. I'm going to listen to her because she knows the political part. I'm going to speak from the community part.
Yes, and activism part.
Yes. I'm thinking about Maude Ford Lee when the urban design organization Sterling and Lee came to town, and they wanted to develop the community of West Palm Beach. They wanted to develop an African American trail, and I never will forget that.
African American trail.
Yes, from 2nd Street to the Greenwood Cemetery, to the Evergreen Cemetery on 25th. And I have a copy here of the outline that we drew for that from Division. We were going to start at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Which,
you remember that, Miss Gaines?
Yes.
Really?
And Division Street was going to be the line that you traveled up, and we would start from the Friendship Baptist Church. We'd come to the St. Patrick's Church, and then we'd go to Tabernacle, and then we would move on up to the elementary school, the UB Kansas School at that time, Palm View at that time.
And so was this Maude Ford Lee's idea?
Well,
or
she was
y'all were
supportive of it.
The African American trail. Huh.
Yeah, the urban city planners were here.
Yeah.
And we met in downtown on Flagler, what they call the Dog Vader building. Right. And then, to discuss that plan.
So what happened to it?
Well,
did it die? I guess it did.
Well, we did it. Our organization at that time, we organized the Progressive Northwest Neighborhood Association.
Wow,
and
which still exists.
Yeah, and then we drew it, and we did one tour or two tours. I think maybe two tours, but we just didn't get the attendance and the support that we wanted, and because we needed someone stationed at St. Patrick's, stationed at Tabernacle, stationed at Payne Chapel to tell the history of the place. We needed someone stationed at the school, and then someone stationed at the cemetery whenever we got there to tell us what what
occurred.
Right. So and we met, and they identified the places that we were going to visit. Right. The Martin Luther King site, was a part of it at that time.
So, what happened to it, Ms. Gaines? How did it die?
Well, what happened was, as Ms. Bush mentioned, the Stolen Lee plan was an outgrowth of what we consider trying to bring business, industry, culture, history into what we call the lagging regions.
Yes.
And so if you remember, Ms. Bush, Joel Daves allowed us to actually search out and identify what kinds of planners he wanted to come in. So they issued the solicitation, and we also participated in the selection of the planners. So Commissioner Lee and Ms. Bush and many of the community people were very much involved in that. The plan was developed. It's an iconic plan. They unfortunately sat it on a shelf.
I wonder if it's still there on the shelf.
Well, it's being picked back up now. They've picked it back up. And what it requires is funding and support from the city, from the West Palm Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, city, and then you can attract other philanthropic grants and funding.
Well, it kind of
Well,
seems
what happened,
like
and I never will forget this, Lia, that in the finale they said they did not. Sterling Lee said they did not get the support they wanted. You know, they were going to get money from the black millionaires from Atlanta, from Los Angeles, and everywhere like that. But here we just don't have the unity in community that we needed to do what Maude wanted. You know, this just wasn't the unification. So they said we don't have the enough identifiable leadership in this county, right, in the city, to carry it out. And that was just, I mean, I've got somewhere in my house, I've got that statement. Yeah. But she was extremely supportive of it. Yeah.
And has the situation changed enough locally?
Yes, they've used that really as the foundation for the revitalization of the Northwest. My only concern now is that the CRA has taken the lead and the community is being left behind. There are some aspects of the community that are still involved, but and as a result, investors have come in and purchased up most of the property. So we're at a stage now where it's difficult to reverse the trend. And even though we can attract black investors to come to the area, they need a partnership with the city. No other place in the United States is redeveloped just by investors coming in.
Yeah.
So, but as she mentioned, we needed that unified support from not just the county but the city working together. So it was political. It was transitioning out, and as other mayors came in, they had other ideas, and then they got back to the Sterling Lee. So now we're back to Sterling Lee. How many decades later now?
All right. Okay.
Well, and then there is this movement too to create, an African American History Museum. And I keep hearing, little bits and pieces about money being raised and organizations working together. What I never heard about though was this African American trail.
It's called a heritage trail.
The West Palm Beach African American Heritage Tour Trail.
Right.
It's so interesting to hear that Maude Ford Lee was supportive of that and involved in it, because I know we keep hearing that she was the first black person on the county commission, but when I think about her, when I hear her name, I think about about Dyer Park. It's like every time I go there, and it's like a huge park, and it's super diverse. But she was a county commissioner.
Yes.
She was the county chair. I think she was the chair of the board in 1997 when it was created. I think about her every time I go to that park, and I'm just like, yes.
Well, believe it or not, she was instrumental in equitable allocation of parks and rec facilities all over the county. So it was through her initiative. She brought funding for facilities at Gaines Park. The Riviera Beach Barracuda Bay is a direct result of her funding. The Ezell Hester Center in Boynton Beach is a direct result of her funding.
Wow.
The Osborne Center was supported by her funding. And Delray Beach Pompey Park's new pool was a direct result. So she's had that much of a support and impact on
her
facilities.
Hands are all over this county.
Yes.
And but then the other thing that I think about too when I think about her is that that small business incubator program that was out in Riviera Beach, that you and she founded.
Right.
I guess after was she still on the county commission?
She was still on the county commission. I think at that time, it was she left in 2000.
Okay.
And so most of the grantsmanship for that project was done through the federal government. We secured all of the grants. We got it opened, and it was a beautiful project.
It was. You remember, Mr. Mayor? It was what did y'all call it? It was called the
Spanish Courts.
The Business and Economic Development.
Okay, that's the name of the nonprofit that I operated. Yeah. I was the director of. And so we did all the grants writing for it. The project itself was called the Spanish Courts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was businesses, small businesses. We had.
It was a small business incubator, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was 22 cottages, and we did what they call an adaptive reuse of an old historic place into the Spanish Courts redevelopment incubator. And we had small businesses. We had arts and entertainment. We created a fund where we raise funds so we can invite in professors to come and display, and artists, books, authors.
Wow.
We had book festivals there, and we showcased, I don't know if you remember the Henrietta Marie, the slave ship that sunk, and the artifacts that we showcased there, and we set them up in the cottages, and we did another special series.
Wow.
Yes. It was all of the schools came in and toured the artifacts from the ship, and we didn't want them to just be left with slavery on their mind, so we developed and curated an additional series to talk about what happened before they came here through the Middle Passage as well.
So what did y'all want to accomplish with that place?
Well, it was to be repurposed, and we accomplished it as a small business incubator, an arts and cultural place. It was a botanical garden, as well as a something to catalyze redevelopment in the city of Riviera Beach. Yeah. And we accomplished that. Unfortunately, we got the city. We were a nonprofit, and that's valuable real estate. Mm-hmm. And the city, and it's about almost 3 acres. The city wanted control of it, and so we decided we didn't want to keep battling with the city. They wanted control of it, so we did an exit plan.
Because I seem to recall, and I'm saying this off the record, but it seemed to me that there was some planned obsolescence that went on over there too, that led to the argument that this place needs to be demolished, because it ended up being demolished.
Right. After we left, there was no attention provided to it. But the community wanted to keep it.
They did.
I don't know if you remember, Mayor, but the community members stepped up and said, we want this historic site. We want to keep this site. But eventually it was, they relocated the tenants after we left, and they demolished the property. I think it's been over a year ago now. Yes.
Well, I can tell you this, and I'm sure Sister Edith Bush can tell you it. Once you get past 60, you don't remember anything. You just have to go back.
I can tell you that. And I'm 86, baby. I don't remember yesterday.
After 60 minutes, it's gone. But what I can tell you, what I do remember, is that there has not been anyone who has done more redevelopment in this county, Riviera Beach, like Maude Ford Lee, a legend. Yeah, right. And we appreciate the work that she did as a chair and just as a commissioner on the. I think she was the first African American chair.
Yes, she was. Yes,
and the work
now
that she did.
They refer to it as mayor.
Yes,
right.
And I'm still trying to figure out what does that mean. But it's always good to have another mayor in town.
It's a great.
But I've been very close to the Lee family, period. I came in 1987. Percy Lee was a friend of mine. I was at his funeral, and I think I did the scripture. I talked to Vanessa today. I will be involved in her service at the celebration of her mother. I think I'll be doing the closing prayer there at Payne Chapel Tuesday, right? At 11 a.m.?
Yes, Tuesday at 11.
So we're looking forward to a great celebration. Baptized Vanessa, baptized her husband, baptized her children, blessed her twins, all at New Macedonia. So that kind of show you how close we are from a very spiritual perspective. I'm ready to shout.
All right.
I'm ready to celebrate
it's a celebration.
The homegoing of an angel, of a legend, Maude Ford Lee.
Yes, she
was.
And
we also want to remember another legend in Riviera Beach, Inez Mickens, as well.
Yes.
But we're going to continue to work.
Oh, yes.
And in her name and in her honor.
Yes.
And I think Mayor Mac Bernard said that he was going to name a building or something after Maude, and we're excited about that.
Oh, my God.
And also, Leah, she was a force to be reckoned with in the Democrat Party.
Oh, yes.
She was very powerful.
Yes,
yes.
she was.
You know, she and Miss Bowie, just in every
she was
sense.
the highest local elected official as chair at the time, and so she had been involved in the Democratic Party for years.
She did.
Yes, and so she pushed them beyond where they thought they could go, even to the point of getting single-member districts enacted in the county, and that's how she was elected.
Which I still support to this day,
That's right.
everywhere.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about that because I did read that apparently she worked on that even before she got involved in politics.
Yes.
Right.
What did she recognize about?
So what happened was the Democratic Party pretty much had a stronghold on the commission. There were a lot of retirement communities because of the at-large voting. Their candidate of choice would win out no matter the case. And so around the country there were initiatives, and if you notice shortly after that time, the state and the federal, the congressional seats became districted as well. And that's how we got all of our black elected officials at the state. That's how we got Alcee Hastings. And so at the local level, we did what was called the Coalition for the Right to Vote. So we formed a coalition with different organizations and groups, and it was eventually put on the ballot, and it was supported, and that's how we came to single member districts.
And you were pushing for that in your town too,
I'm a big supporter of single member districts, but I think the League of Cities is saying that the model is a mix, like a hybrid. It's like in our city would be like 3 single districts, and then the mayor's seat, and then 1 open seat, and then you got the best of both worlds. Yeah, I just believe in single member because it makes the representative more accountable and responsible to their district. I mean, why do you have District 2 and District 3 and everybody vote for it? You know, it doesn't make much sense to me. But let me just say this. I was just talking to my political consultant. We were looking at the numbers. People were saying, well, Mayor, we thought you were going to win. How did you lose? But let me tell you, I'm just now realizing from the analysis, we lost in other communities that wasn't my community. Put it like that. We lost in Singer Island. We lost in Woodbine. We lost in Marina Grande. Those were the areas that we lost really bad. But I won in my neighborhood, in my community where the church is, where I walk the streets, in the Wells area, the Callaway area, the Bethune area, the Lindsay Davis area. So I feel good about it. It's good to always win in your own neighborhood.
That's right.
And those other neighborhoods weren't mine, and they didn't vote for me.
That's right.
But that's okay.
That's all right.
You know, the best is still yet to come.
But then on that note, in terms of loss, when Mrs. Lee lost in 2000 to Addie Green, she never ran for political office again. Do you have any sense
and what
why
happened
that is?
and what happened at that time was they passed in the state legislature what's known as open primaries. Up to that point, the Democratic Party was very strong that only Democrats should be able to nominate the Democratic primary. So there was an effort afoot to reverse, to undercut single member districts at the local levels. And so that's actually how Commissioner Addie Green was elected, because she was supported by she got some support, of course, from the communities because of her work in the state house, but her support, that open primary meant Republicans could vote in the primary. And they were upset about the policies and the successes that were happening,
and the
change that was happening in at the county commission level.
And I also tell you, Maude and I never had this discussion, but you don't know who your friends are until you go through something. People smile on your face, stab in your back. There's probably no or little loyalty around town, and you find out people that were loyal, people that Maude helped, that Maude got jobs for, that Maude did this, that, and other. When she needed them, they were nowhere to be found. So so that's a part of it too. It's very frustrating. Jesus had to deal with folk that weren't loyal. Look at Peter, look at Judas, look at Thomas. The list goes on. I do want to announce Sunday morning, which is today, at 11 a.m. I'm going to be preaching in New Macedonia Baptist Church, a special Easter sermon. And it's going to be called The Comeback is Always Greater Than the Setback. The comeback is greater than the setback, and we're going to be giving Easter baskets to all the children that are there.
Wonderful.
And one thing can we be proud of now that the county is of color, starting from the top with
majority.
With Senator Powell, with the Virginia Baker, with Mayor Bernard, and with the election of James, and I mean, when you really we are covered in color.
That's because they stand on your shoulders, and they stand on the shoulders of Lia Gaines and of course Maude Ford Lee. They paved the way. You all paved the way. And y'all let me come to town in 1987 and adopt me as the favorite son.
We're gonna keep you. You got us the streets and everything. President Obama and everything like that. We love you.
Mary talks about that all the time.
We love that. Oh my gosh, we love all of that.
Awesome.
Mrs. Bush, when was the last time you saw Maude Ford Lee? Do you remember? You see her?
Yeah. For the implementation of our health and safety fair, Maude is a member of Trinity United Methodist Church,
right?
And she in fact, I would have had to get the contract for the fair from her.
Had she been there?
Yes. So it was recent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now, and Mrs. Gaines, give us a sense from your perspective on her. What do you think was most important to her? What do you think she really wanted to accomplish?
Oh, wow. I think what she wanted to do was, and she did it, was to lay the foundation for the rest of us to continue that legacy. Yeah. And she always said the work is never done, Lia. You know, as soon as, in fact, when you think you finished something, sometimes they back you up a little bit. You got to get back up and keep going. Yes, she would. But, you know, what I thought about coming over here, I just recently, I've been, researching about her life and reflecting on her life the last few days, and I found out I found an interview with her on YouTube.
Wow.
And she talked about actually when she was at the Community Action nonprofit, when it started as a small nonprofit, she was a fiscal specialist there. She actually brought the Urban League to Palm Beach County.
Wow.
Percy was the first executive director and built the facility.
Was he already her man?
Yes, they were married.
Okay.
But she actually facilitated meetings in her office with the Community Action Board. They served as a steering committee. And she invited T. Willard Fair up. He took them through all the processes. They did all the applications and documentations. And the Urban League became the 102nd affiliate of the National Urban League. And that happened in 1974. So then you look at her work in community action. She took it from a small nonprofit into a public agency. It became a division of the county, 9 service centers dealing with employment training, child care for people. Yes, transportation, credit counseling and budgeting, housing. She did what's called an affordable housing initiative where she got people with incomes as low as $20,000.
Yeah, that would be
into first-time home ownership all across the county, just hundreds of people. And so, I can go on and on. So it was amazing what she accomplished. And when you think about it, it's just, it boggles the mind. But to do all of that, and we've got to continue the work.
Well, and on that note, I think that we kind of are in a sense, because I read that she did had the county to do one of the first disparity studies.
Yes.
In terms of, the county's, contracting.
Yes.
And then you and a team later, like last year, I think.
Yes, that's what drove me to do that, because the ordinance eventually became sunset. If you don't have that person staying on top of it and holding people accountable for it, it's going to go away. And so when she left office, that's what happened.
And that's called leadership.
Yes. And so it has come back. And so we've worked over, actually it took us 4 years to get it back. But once we got it back, we got it at the county now. We have it at solid waste. They just did a $500 million solicitation, and we now have a black waste company that's going to be here in Palm Beach County. And the city of West Palm Beach is also just finalized there. But we were really most involved at the county, at the and the solid waste authority.
Y'all were very consistent and assertive.
Yes.
I think that's a good word to use.
Yes.
Y'all didn't play.
Well, Maude Lee trained us.
That's right.
Is it a DNA? Yes.
All right. Now, we've only got a couple minutes left, but I want to at least let people know about her services. Her viewing is going to be tomorrow, Monday, April 22nd, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Trinity United Methodist Church, which we were talking about earlier. That's where the big event is going to be next Saturday, right?
Oh, it's going to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where
the funeral's going to be?
The funeral services. The funeral services are going to be at
Monday the 22nd, and then funeral Tuesday the 23rd.
On Tuesday, April 23rd at Payne Chapel AME Church in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
Both churches are located in historic black neighborhoods.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Black neighborhoods that were platted to be black.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that is perfect for her.
Yeah.
So do you want anything else you want to say, Mayor Masters, as we close?
Why we absent one from another? See you in the morning. See you at 11 a.m. Remember New Master doing the sermon?
Yes.
What is it? Say it. You remember? Come on now. The
comeback is greater than the setback.
Look at it. She got it.
Okay. Edith Bush, Martin Luther King Coordinating
Committee. But I want to say one more thing about Maude, because Maude was a member of Trinity United Methodist.
Yes, she was.
I don't care what anybody say. Peace started there, and I think and peace meaning people engaged in active community efforts.
Yes.
And it was all
really.
And
I'm learning so many new things today.
And Reverend Garvin was the pastor at that time, and I really think that she was a big force in the organization of that. Of that organization,
and they do an awesome job at organizing
and her son is
getting issues heard with homelessness and that sort of thing. Doing a great job.
And Edith Bush must have. I'm sorry, Edith Bush. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We know who you're talking to. You're looking at him.
It's all his fault. You put all this pressure on me.
We get you back.
We'll get you back.
She was a very devoted member of Trinity United Methodist Church.
Yes. That's why I would have had to get the contract from her.
Yes, she was a finance committee.
And I'm so glad to hear these things from you guys, because I did not know that she had such a rich focus on community. I really didn't, and on our communities. Right. Love that.
One reason why you probably didn't realize, because she had such a quiet,
humble
spirit.
It was so quiet.
Forgiving spirit, lovable spirit. As a matter of fact, even after the election of Maude and Addie, they really got closer. They became friends.
Oh, yes. So they were always friends.
Matter of fact, I called Addie about 2 o'clock in the morning after Maude went. Yeah, and she was, she started crying. So I just want people to know, there weren't any enemies at all.
Not at all.
They became closer and friends. And matter of fact, I was with both of them, and I think both of them were in my wedding. Maude was in the wedding. Anyway, I don't know which one. It doesn't matter. None of them worked. So I'm still trying. But anyway, are we at the end?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want me to say? What I always say? Yes. The best is yet to come.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.